We're here today working on my 2000 Impala. The mirrors do not work on it. Normally in the Pine, not a big issue, but since my daughter's about to start driving the car, I want to make sure the mirrors work because I'll be driving it, she'll be driving it, the wife can drive it, and with a new driver, I want her to be able to get her mirrors right. Neither mirror works on the car. I believe it's probably a bad switch, but before I just go out and spend $35 on a switch, I'm going to check power to both the door and the fuse. Also check continuity for a few wires and just use a couple basic checks just to make sure I don't by chance have two bad mirrors. Unlikely, but possible. Fortunately, I'm going to have to pull the door panel off of this thing. I did not want to originally when I was thinking about this. Really though, it's the easiest way, and it gives me access to the wiring to this, and I don't want to do any further damage trying to be lazy about it. And since this is only going to be 4 screws and a couple clips to get this off, it's really not going to add much to the process. So, first things first, we are going to use handy dandy $3 Harbor Freight special here. Make sure we got power to our fuses. One fuse, not fuses, apologies. And make sure it's just not simply a blown fuse, because Lord knows you don't want to tear all this apart and find out it's a bloody fuse right there, because that might upset you a little. So, let's find out. Alright. Find a good power ground. Nice bolt right there, looks good. Up until I do that, go back to that bolt. You always want to make sure you test more than one fuse, just in case you're not on a good ground. So we're going to check a couple fuses here. Pretty comfortable. This 2 amp fuse is the one we're after. So should have power on both sides. And it does. And you guys are able to see that, so that's awesome. So, easy job done. It is not a blown fuse. That is awesome. Now we get to go through the process upon, well, actually we'll go to the switch next. So, just right here, held in by a couple screws. Screws. There it is. Power windows, power locks. Some of these clips can be a bugger to get out. There we go. Alright, there it is, power mirrors, windows. Now I want to check for power here, as it is possible that it has broken, lost the connection in the wiring coming from the door. This is 2000, has a couple miles on it, the door's been open and shut a few times, so wire could have fatigued, just lost connection. Maybe some water got into the connector, got corroded. Who knows? Best to check this real quick. There's no power here. We know we got problems other than a bad switch. Still on our same ground. The mirrors are a constant power. The key doesn't need to be on, so it should always have power. Alright, there's one of them. Now, these switches are lit, so I should have a 12-volt signal to power them for the lights. So I'm just going to turn on my park lights, and you're going to hear a beeper. Alright, so there's that. Lights off. Lights on. Lights off. So, I have illumination power, I have constant power, which would be from the fuse, which if you want or can do just to verify that, we'll pull out our fuse and we should lose power. And when I put it back in, we should get power back. So we know without a doubt that is the correct fuse. It is powering this. I say, okay, if you're hooking your ground to the hinge, you cannot shut the door. See if that gives me good enough ground. Negative. We'll go to the parking brake. Alright. Let me shut the door real quick. You won't be able to see, but we do have power. So, I'm going to guess not a bad broken wire, so it's not like got power now, but when I shut the door it's lost connection. So we got two powers, and I need a ground. To find a ground with the test light, you need a power. Thankfully I have one in here off the cigarette lighter. There we be. Remember this one, it goes back to ground because of all the light bulbs in the circuit. So that's why that will give a false ground, because of all the light bulbs. So we have ground, we have power, we technically should have a working circuit. It is possible that I have two bad mirrors. Again, I just highly doubt that, because I don't know if I've ever encountered that, truthfully. Normally you have one bad mirror, or you have one motor that's burnt out and it doesn't want to go up or down, or it clicks. I've never actually seen two mirrors completely dead. So we're going to pull this door panel off, get to the wiring. I'll grab my multimeter. We'll do some ohmage checks through here, make sure we're good. I suspect we are, because this door, the wire should all be within the door, so it's not like the passenger door where there could have broken going over. If I have good continuity, we'll jump the mirror, see if we can make the mirror work. If we can do that, then I'm pretty confident in condemning the switch. I'll grab one out of the Monte that's next to us. Give it a try. If it works, then I'll order a switch. Yes, technically I could have just pulled the switch out of that car, put it in here, but the average person doesn't have that access. I don't know, not everybody's me, and not everybody has multiple cars. So the average person to just check a switch would have to go to the wrecking yard or something, hope you got a good switch, pull it apart, put it in, and then you don't know if the switch you used is bad, or if it's a bad mirror, bad wiring. So that's why I wanted to show the process of checking things to know what you're doing. So let's get this off. Look at that. Alright. Again, another quick tip. Since we're messing around with the power locks and stuff, I went ahead and rolled my window down, just so you don't accidentally lock yourself out of your car. I've never done that. Never once. Alright, she's not wanting to come off the easy way. So we'll just do it that way. Alright. Sometimes these things can bite you pretty good. You should be able to just put her foot there and give it a little tug. Oh, no, I was wrong. There's 2 more screws. Ah, we'll buy that one later. Pull that off. That's easier. There we go. Alright. Here is our power mirror plug. Quick inspection. I have 5 wires going in and 5 wires going out. That's meant to be entertaining. So we'll do a quick ohms test. I gotta go get my meter. Alright. So we're gonna check. Let's start with blue wire. Okay, so for that, I don't see any broken wires. I think you guys will be able to see. Okay, got a couple cheap jumper leads here, just your normal test leads. I'm gonna hook them up to some wires I have here. There are actually a fuse circuit. It's my cigarette lighter circuit, so I think it's a 10 amp fuse, maybe a 20. Long story short, if I arc them, they will fuse out on me times. Alright, so we're going to check this here. Now, if I am not mistaken, if we reverse polarity, we will get the reverse. So, with that said, I'm going to go grab the switch out of the Impala, or not Impala, the Monte Carlo, which is the same chassis in parts and like 2 years newer than the Impala, so the switch should be identical. And we will see if it works. Alright. There they are. This one is the Impala switch. That one's a Monte Carlo. Pretty much identical. I don't see a part number that's legible anymore off the Impala one, but they're identical. So let's plug the mirror back in, plug the switch in, sits like that. See what the mirror does. So let's take you off the tripod. Beautiful. Funny story on the cluster. The gas gauge in this car doesn't work very good. And I told the wife, I said, it could be that the gauge is bad in the dash, so I should just get one from the wrecking yard next time I'm up there. Yeah, just so happened they had a nicer, the full tack or full gauge cluster up there. I don't think it was an SS I got it out of, but you know, it's not the problem. But I like the gauge cluster. Alright, so that took about what, 15-20 minutes. I now know I need a new one of these. I got to unfortunately give this one back to the Monte Carlo, otherwise my father-in-law would be a little less than happy with me. But now I can comfortably order a new one, put it in here, and not stress out that I'm just wasting $30-some on this thing. So that's general good idea how to diagnose most things. Check the core problems. We check the fuses first, check for power and grounds at the switch, even verified that the mirror itself was good. So don't want to just throw parts at things because that can get very expensive very fast. Not to mention, you know, if I just went out to the wrecking yard and grabbed this, I wouldn't know, and the mirror still didn't work, I wouldn't know, is the mirror bad, is the switch that I grabbed bad? I mean, it's better to know everything works before you go start throwing parts at something, because otherwise you're just wasting time and money. Alright, until next project, see you then.